Welcome to Dronacharya IAS Academy. Today we will be discussing Kashmir issue and Article 370 along with none other than Colonel Dr. Tej Kumar Tiku. Following is the brief about Colonel Tej Kumar Tiku's astounding career. He is speaking on the following three phases of Kashmir crisis. Phase 1, Independence time to 1990, Phase 2, post-1990 to 2019, Phase 3, post-scrapping of Article 370.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ravi.
Could you please tell us what was the trigger to effect this kind of a cleansing of the aborigines of that place by people who do not belong to that civilization?
First of all, there are three factors involved. One is after the accession of the state with India, and part of it has to do with what happened before accession, say around early part of the 30s, from 31 onward, 30 onwards, when a Muslim conference became very active in Kashmir under Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah. It was a small little gathering, Kashmir study circle. Then it became a Muslim conference and things like that. And Sheikh Abdullah had studied in Aligarh. He came back to Kashmir. He was 25 years old, and he started a movement against the Maharaja, against the autocratic rule of Maharaja. Though I would say that Maharaja was more sinned against than sinning, because he was not the type of Maharaja that we had seen in many other parts of the country. He was a secular person. He did a lot of social work and spread education in Kashmir. Anyway, so the Muslim majoritarian viewpoint started gaining momentum from 31 onwards till the time the Muslim conference was renamed National Conference in 38 under pressure because Sheikh Abdullah was not pulling on well with Jinnah, and he did not subscribe to the theory of Pakistan being based on theocracy. Eventually, Sheikh Abdullah, under pressure from Jawaharlal Nehru, who had divested Sardar Patel of the Kashmir portfolio and brought it under Ministry of External Affairs. He divested Maharaja Hari Singh, compelled him to leave and hand over power to Sheikh Abdullah. At the same time, he went to the United Nations and he
that's history. Again. I think that was the biggest mistake done by first big mistake done by the politicians of India post-independence.
Yes, though he was advised not to go to United Nations because he was told that you will get monkey justice there, because the whole United Nations at that time was totally dominated by the Western allies, and Western allies had embraced Pakistan. In fact, they had created Pakistan in northwest area so that
that's to counter communism. That was the basic aim.
That to counter the communism. But at the end of the day, Pakistan today has joined the biggest communist state, and they
are in the lap of the communists now.
They are in the lap of communists now, and the Western allies don't know what to do. So this is a long story. The fact is that this is how we reached 1980. In fact, the early 80s, and from there the problem started.
Could you just tell us how this actual thing started?
Well, it started somewhere late 1988. And it was started by Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, because that was the only organization that Pakistan could easily. It was handy because they existed there. They had their cadres, they with different names, Al Fatah and things like that. And they are the ones who went across, because as I said that they had taken the Jamaat Islami Kashmir on board. They sent their people for training across the line of control. The line of control was not so heavily held as it is today. It's a very difficult area. As you know, you have served so many years there. The terrain is so difficult. There are heights, there are high altitude area, there are streams, fast flowing, there are jungle. So it was easy for Jamaat Islami cadres to go to Pakistan occupied Kashmir, get trained there and come back. And they were used by the ISI initially, that is 1988 till about 90 end. It was the JKLF, which was Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, which was used by ISI to create trouble, and they had clear mandate that you will kill and scare Kashmiri Pandits out so that they pack up and leave.
Government is doing something, and would these abrogation of Article 370 and 35 paving the way for it?
Actually, abrogation of Article 370, 35A, let me tell you, these have been the most courageous steps taken by the government. These are the most historical steps after accession of the state with India. These are the most historical and most impactful steps taken by any government in India. So there's no dispute on that. And it will have long-term effect on integration of J&K state with India, for the simple reason that the separatist mentality and the big walls, mental walls that these two provisions created, they have been demolished.
So what do you think? How can the whole Kashmir Pandit problem be solved by the government or some miracle? What is the miracle you expect to resettle the Kashmiri Pandits back peacefully and in the same prosperous manner they could lead their lives there? What could be the solution?
There is no requirement of a miracle. Government of India has to say, okay, Kashmiri Pandits, we give them. After all, what is the most important thing for a Kashmiri Pandit is to go back to Kashmir. Where does he go back in Kashmir? He has to have a place. He has to have land. He doesn't have the land. He doesn't have the resources to purchase so much of land. And therefore, this can only be done by the government of India. The moment he gets the land, then you have to think of security, because both the issues are related. If you are secure, I understand that it is not easy to provide security to each individual. That every Kashmiri Pandit understands. But at the same time, settling them at one place, rehabilitating them, giving them some financial assistance is very important. Unless you do that, how can you resettle a whole ethnically clean community in a place where nearly 99.9% population is Muslims, and a large part of it is already radicalized to an extent that they have not seen what Kashmiri Pandit is. The generation that is born after 89, they don't know what a Kashmiri Pandit. They think we are people with two horns. Therefore, when Kashmiri Pandit goes back, the issue is not only of security, issue is not only of place, issues of enmeshing with what has happened to the society after we left.
That is that you have to reweave the social fabric.
Correct. And it is not that difficult. It is possible. I would say that's why I have been always saying that give us a place at one place. Let Kashmiri Pandits go back. We'll take care of ourselves. We'll enmesh with them. We are still, old generation is still alive who have lived with us. We speak to them on the phone, and they do miss olden times. It is not that every Kashmiri Muslim wants us out. It's not that. A large number of them, they think that they made a mistake by throwing us out. Therefore, but on our own, I'm not too sure if we can do anything about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
kind of you. All the best. Good luck. Namaste. Namaskar.
So that's it for the day, friends. If you liked what you just saw, please like, subscribe and share it with your friends. For more detailed information on different courses, you can contact Dronacharya IAS Academy on the following phone numbers. Take care and wish you all the best.